Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library.
Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. Wait, there are things beyond the jungle? Let's go back to 1982 and the release of a massively influential game for the Atari 2600, Pitfall. A very early example of an exploratory platformer, developer David Crane created a game where protagonist Pitfall Harry was given 20 minutes to explore a double-layered map and collect treasure while jumping over obstacles and swinging off of ropes. It may seem very primitive now, but for the time, this was one of the most innovative games ever, and set the standard for every platformer that came after it. It's definitely the kind of game you want to go back and try for yourself, just to see how the genre first got its footing. And although Pitfall never really had another game as successful as the first one, it certainly wasn't for a lack of trying. Pitfall 2, Super Pitfall, Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, Pitfall 3D, they really did try to turn Pitfall into a thing, but no matter what they did, it would always remain a relic of a bygone age, an important one, but one that also had very little place in modern gaming. Pitfall Beyond the Jungle, released for the Game Boy Color in 1998, was developed by David A. Palmer Productions, a company that specialized in licensed titles for handheld systems, such as Commander Keen, Babe and Friends, and Chevy Chase? Wait, there's a game called Chevy Chase? Oh, right, the car. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But back to Pitfall, the box art makes it seem like a massive Indiana Jones-like adventure with this background lighting, and yeah, I guess that's true, but come on, everyone knows that this is what Pitfall Harry looks like. Also, on a meta note, the fact that I can only find this one low-quality image of the box art is a worrying sign. It's a classic game making another attempt at modern relevancy. Adventure hats on for Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. So, this is interesting. For the life of me, I cannot get the original Game Boy version to run. It will only run on the Game Boy Color version. But there is proof that the game can in fact run on the original Game Boy. Wow, that logo looks bad. We are going to be doing this game only on the Game Boy Color, but I guarantee you, one, it can run on the original Game Boy, and two, very little difference in how it plays. I watched a side-by-side comparison. Let's do this. The wilderness. You can tell by the rocks and a single tree. There he is, Pitfall Harry. Is he wearing sunglasses? He looks like a blind man with those sunglasses. That's very weird. Jump. Okay. Standard stuff. Oh, God. Alright, we now have two of those things. How do I grab that? Ah, it's B. Let go. What? A. Okay, there we go. Aw. That scorpion's adorable. Oh, this is awesome. You hit B and like a second later he attacks. Always a good sign. Uh-oh. Ow, scorpion. Oh, this attack is so delayed. Oh, I hate that. Oh, man. When you have a game where you're not jumping on the enemy and just attacking, you need to be able to attack quickly. Hi? What? I'm sorry, I forgot that gorillas can shoot power waves. I did it again. I am getting used to the delayed controls. Like, I have to turn my brain so it's like a half second late. Jump. Oh, no. Oh, don't make me. Of course it was. Also, was that Comic Sans? Oh, we gotta start the whole thing over. But why did that happen? This is so... Oh, God, this is so bland. Also, I looked into it. Apparently, the game is only about 30 minutes long. For a game on the Game Boy Color? That's pretty pathetic. Sometimes, the grabbing just doesn't work. Hey, what? I was expecting my score to be higher there. Hang on a sec. I looked up a walkthrough of Pitfall Beyond the Jungle, and the very first line of the walkthrough is, "This is not a walkthrough of Pitfall." Yeah, this is just blah. There's like nothing that's standing out about this game. I really would like to get to level 2. I don't know why. Does this ape salute me? It absolutely does. Now we pick up that, like from Zelda. Okay. The fact that you have to grab the vines, but sometimes it just doesn't. Or sometimes it does that. Am I gonna be able to get past the first stage? 15% of this game? There's one thing about, increasing difficulty to make sure, your game is long enough. But if the difficulty increases it just plays really poorly, like this, or sometimes the mechanics don't work properly. I mean, the nicest thing I'm prepared to say is that for the Game Boy Color, it does look alright. Better than some of the other Game Boy Color games I've played. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing differently each time. It feels like I'm doing the same button press each time. Also, the fact that it tells you your score is 0, despite the fact that I'm very clearly picking power-ups up, is very demoralizing. Okay, that time it worked. Oh, this combat's terrible. Quote-unquote combat. Oh my god. Okay, I think I'm starting to figure it out. Nope. Okay, I was about to say you don't actually have to hit A, but I didn't hit A there, and it just went me straight through. Yep, same there. You know what, game? I can tell when I'm not wanted. We haven't even gotten to, a cave yet. The game's even called Beyond the Jungle, and we're very clearly in a jungle. That's 2 weeks in a row where the game has lied about its, setting. So, yeah. It's just, again, not the worst game I've ever played. Not even the worst platformer. But just not very good. Yes, I am aware of what my score was. Well, now I know where the pit in Pitfall comes from. It's odd that a game that was so influential just never could come close to capturing the magic again, but that's exactly what we had here. An attempt to bring Pitfall back to relevancy with rather bland and negative results. The jumping and attack controls were both delayed, which meant gameplay itself was fundamentally broken from the start. And as we saw numerous times, the grabbing controls seemed to change every time I jumped. Whenever I thought I figured out how to grab onto the rope, it just wouldn't, making the first level so annoying and difficult that I didn't even finish it. It's not often that I don't finish at least the first level of a Game Boy game, but that never bodes well. But even if I were to perfectly platform through the level and continue and could adjust to the gameplay delay, it was just boring. It was running to the side and jumping over platforms with nothing that made it stand out. I looked ahead and the gameplay never evolves enough to be interesting, sticking with the most standard platforming you can imagine. And even worse, the game is only 4 levels long, beatable in less than 30 minutes. And yes, the Atari game had a 20-minute time limit, but things had evolved a lot since the Atari days, and it felt like gameplay-wise, this game took advantage of none of the advances in video games or technology as a whole. Pitfall may have been an important game, but it's also one stuck in the past that never gained modern relevancy because it never evolved. Pitfall Beyond the Jungle is an utterly generic platformer with bad gameplay mechanics that gives no good reason for playing it. What we needed is a sequel to Adventure. I want to know what that box is up to. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm BrianJ, and I'll see you next time.